What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. It is Thursday, October 26th, 2023, and I have another emergency alert to share with you guys. Right now, it is 9:38 p.m. Eastern Time here in the United States, and I wanted to update you on the situation in the Middle East. So, Iran's top foreign minister spoke at an emergency meeting at the UN today, and he warned the US of uncontrollable consequences for supporting what he says is genocide in Palestine. So, I have a video here I want to play for you. This is coming from the UN. This is what he said at the UN. And he said that there's going to be uncontrollable consequences. So I want to just play this for you. Very, very chilling words coming from this guy. This is the Iranian foreign minister.
I say frankly to the American statesmen who are now managing the genocide in Palestine that we do not welcome to expansion of the war in the region. But I warn, if the genocide in Gaza continues, they will not be spared from this fire. It is our home, and West Asia is our region. We do not compromise with any party and any side, and we have no reservation when it comes to our home's security.
So, very strong words there. He says that the U.S. will not be spared from this fire. Okay, he's talking about war in the Middle East. So, this is very, very concerning. And he also said, in addition, why the United States itself is actually and in practice and directly involved in committing crimes against Palestinians. It is not in a position to invite others to exercise self restraint and refrain from spreading the war. Therefore, we strongly warn against the uncontrollable consequences of the unlimited financial arms and operational support by the White House to the Tel Aviv regime, which have led to the expansion and added to the severity of the bombardments of the civilians and the Palestinian women and children in Gaza and the West Bank. So he's basically blaming the United States for what he calls genocide in Palestine because the United States is supporting Israel. And he's saying that America is responsible for Israeli bombardments of Palestinian civilians. Okay, so he's lumping the United States in with Israel, and he's warning of uncontrollable consequences, and that we will not be spared from this fire. Okay, those are some very, very strong words. And he says that the U.S. is actually and in practice directly involved in committing crimes against Palestinians. And apparently, the second U.S. aircraft carrier that's supposed to go to the Middle East, the USS Dwight Eisenhower, is now approaching the Mediterranean, and it's operating in the eastern Atlantic Ocean. And this is coming from U.S. defense officials confirming to USNI News today. Okay, so this second aircraft carrier is actually going to be going to the Red Sea. It's not going to be going to the Eastern Mediterranean, so they changed its deployment. Okay, initially it was going to go to the Eastern Mediterranean, but now it's going to go through the Suez Canal, and it's going to end up in the Red Sea, and from there we don't know where it's going to go. But it's going to come under the control of the U.S. Fifth Fleet. And so it's very interesting that they're going to position one aircraft carrier around Saudi Arabia near the Persian Gulf or the Red Sea, and then they're going to position another one in the Eastern Mediterranean. So they're basically surrounding Iran from both sides. They're going to have the USS Gerald Ford on the western side of Iran, and then they're going to have the Dwight Eisenhower on the southeastern side of Iran. Okay, So they're going to be able to hit Iran from both sides. So this is huge news, guys. It's almost there, okay? It's going to be transiting through the Straits of Gibraltar very, very soon. It might have already transited through. And it's going to be the first time that a U.S. carrier strike group will be operating in the Middle East since the Ronald Reagan carrier strike group withdrew from the North Arabian Sea after supporting the evacuation of Afghanistan. Okay? So very, very concerning. And Iran's Supreme Military Command has ordered the army in Iran to go on general alert and begin large scale exercises for all branches of the country's armed forces. Okay. And apparently, in response to the increase in the number of U.S. troops and military equipment in the eastern Mediterranean, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps missile units and drone bases on the coast of the Persian Gulf and in the Sea of Oman have been put on heightened combat readiness. And Putin warned yesterday that the conflict can expand. And Putin warned yesterday that the conflict can expand outside of the Middle East. And I want to read to you what John Kirby said today. John Kirby, the National Security Council spokesman, warned that the U.S. will respond to attacks on U.S. troops in the Middle East at a time of our choosing and a manner of our choosing. Okay, so very, very strong words there. And Biden said that my warning to the Ayatollah was that if they continue to move against those troops, we will respond and he should be prepared. Okay, so Biden warned the Ayatollah Khamenei of Iran that the U.S. is going to respond, okay, and that Iran should be prepared for that. What that response is, I have no idea. Is it going to be a full-scale attack on Iran? Possibly. So crazy stuff, guys. Lots of escalation going on. And Russia is the first country to welcome the leaders of Hamas. And one of these guys is the former leader of Hamas from 1991 to 1995. All right. So obviously, Russia's working with Hamas. And in my opinion, I think that this whole thing with Hamas and Israel was orchestrated by Putin. I think that Putin was getting desperate because the war in Ukraine was not going so well for him. And so he wanted to open up another front for NATO and the US so they would focus on something else besides Ukraine. And I think what's going to happen is I think once this war kicks off in the Middle East, I think that's when you're going to see big moves from Russia, from North Korea, and from China. They're going to take advantage of the fact that we're going to be bogged down in this war in the Middle East. We're going to be sending equipment there. We're going to be sending troops there. We're going to be moving assets there. And so as a result, we're going to have less troops, less equipment, less assets in Eastern Europe and other theaters around the world. And our attention is going to be on the Middle East. And then that's when Russia might attack the Baltics or go after the Suwalki Gap, or North Korea may attack South Korea, or China may attack Taiwan. All right. Now, another bit of concerning information is all these aircraft carriers that have been leaving their bases in the last 48 hours or so. We had 2 U.S. aircraft carriers depart from San Diego to an unknown destination. And what's concerning about that is usually if you're expecting some kind of a nuclear war, you're going to move all of your equipment out of bases, okay? Because those are the primary targets in a nuclear war. So you're going to try to get all your assets out of the bases. So if there is a nuclear war and they target those bases, our aircraft carriers aren't going to be totally destroyed, all right? Because aircraft carriers are slow. And if Russia launches nukes at us, those nukes would get here within 30 minutes, maybe 15 minutes if they're submarine launched. And if we have all our aircraft carriers in port, there's no way they're going to get out of there in time. Those aircraft carriers are going to get sunk by Russian nukes. So they're moving the carriers out from the bases in case Russia launches nukes at us. This way, we would still have our aircraft carriers so we can operate in a post nuclear war environment. So, this is all very concerning, guys. Okay, we're preparing for nuclear war and for World War III. Okay, today we had more nuclear war command and control planes airborne and a doomsday plane. So things are really escalating, guys. I personally believe we're at DEFCON 2 right now. And the U.S. is saying that 900 troops are going to be deployed to the Middle East. This was confirmed by the Pentagon. And Chinese state media said that China will continue to firmly support Iran in safeguarding its national sovereignty, territorial integrity, and national dignity, and will strongly oppose any external forces interfering in Iran's internal affairs. Okay, so China is going to be supporting Iran. They're going to support their territorial integrity and their sovereignty. So that means if we strike Iran, China's going to get involved. That's what it means. Okay, and they've already positioned 6 warships in the region. They've already moved 6 warships to Oman. Okay, so they already have the assets in place. They have 6 guided missile warships that can fire guided missiles, guys. Okay, and Russia has put their MiG 31 fighter jets on combat deployment in the Black Sea where they can fire long range missiles from the Black Sea and they can reach our aircraft carrier in the Eastern Mediterranean. So, this could all spiral out of control and this could turn into a nuclear war. Okay. If, the U.S. starts striking Iran, China may get involved and Russia may get involved and they may start striking our warships and our aircraft carrier, and then it's on. Then the gloves come off and it's just going to go nuclear. The Iraqi militant group, the Kataib Hezbollah, who are directly under the control of the IRGC's Quds Force, have released a statement today in which they announced their readiness for a war of attrition that will extend for many years and that they will begin to escalate this conflict against the enemy in stages which will move to a wider zone and include stronger and stronger attacks. Okay, so Hezbollah in Iraq saying they're ready for a war of attrition with multiple stages that's going to include a wider zone and it's going to get stronger and stronger over time. Okay, the former Assistant Secretary of State for European and Eurasian Affairs, Wes Mitchell, said that we are in the early stages of what could become the global crisis of our time. He also said that the crisis in Gaza increases the risk of a Chinese attack on Taiwan. China is preparing for an attack in the near future. That's what Wes Mitchell said. And that's the former U.S. Assistant Secretary of State. Okay. And this evening, there were some more explosions and sirens heard in eastern Syria near the Al Omar oil fields and the Conoco gas fields, okay, in eastern Syria. So very concerning there. Looks like the Syrian militants or Iraqi militants have targeted U.S. bases again. An Israeli attack is reported in the Homs area of Syria tonight. According to the reports, the target is an airport and a site of the Assad army. Earlier, a drone attack was reported in the areas of Aleppo and Hama. The Syrian army announced they shot down 8 drones. Okay, so Israel is attacking Homs in Syria and apparently a site of the Assad army and some kind of an airport. So Israel is directly attacking the Syrian army, guys. Okay, I'm sure Israel wants to topple the Syrian government because Assad allows all these anti-Israeli militias to, live over there in Syria and carry out attacks from Syria. It's a breeding ground for all those terrorists, and Russia has bases in Syria. So what if Israel starts bombing the crap out of Syria to try to get rid of Assad, and then Russia steps in and starts to attack Israel? That's Ezekiel 38 and 39 right there. The so-called Islamic Resistance of Iraq announced a few hours ago that it targeted the military section of Erbil Airport, which is under the control of the U.S. military, with a drone. Okay, so attacks in eastern Syria tonight at U.S. bases near the Conoco and Al Omar oil fields, and also an attack at the Erbil Airport. Okay, so that's 3 attacks this evening. Hamas launched a massive barrage of rockets towards Tel Aviv this evening, and a massive force of over 100 IDF armored vehicles, including a number of Caterpillar D9 armored bulldozers, have reportedly entered the city of Jenin in the West Bank within the last hour. It appears to be a large-scale raid for the arrest of Hamas and PIJ members. PIJ is Palestinian Islamic Jihad. So that's crazy, guys. And China conducted an unsafe intercept of a U.S. B-52 nuclear bomber operating in international airspace, according to the U.S. military, who said that this was just a routine flight, which I personally don't believe. And this was reported by U.S. Indo-Pacific Command. On October 24th, a People's Republic of China J-11 pilot executed an unsafe intercept of a U.S. Air Force B-52, which was lawfully conducting routine operations over the South China Sea in international airspace. During the nighttime intercept, the PRC pilot flew in an unsafe and unprofessional manner, demonstrated poor airmanship by closing with uncontrolled excessive speed, flying below, in front of, and within 10 feet of the B-52, putting both aircraft in danger of collision. Okay, 10 feet, guys. 10 feet. Absolutely insane. And they released this video here. So I'll show you guys this video. Look at this. So this is the Chinese J-11 fighter jet flying within 10 feet of a B-52. And I think this is probably one of those 2 B-52s that I shared in my last update, that they flew out of Guam and they were heading to the South China Sea. I think this is one of those 2 B-52s that were on a bomber task force mission. And yeah, it's a routine mission, but make no mistake about it, guys, the fact that they're suddenly doing a quote unquote routine mission over the South China Sea is not a coincidence, considering all of the tensions in the region. And I want to just show you some flight paths here. So we currently have 2 nuclear war command and control planes up in the air right now. One is over Missouri and one is over New Mexico. And earlier this afternoon, we had 2 nuclear war command and control planes airborne over Virginia and North Carolina, plus a sub-hunter all the way out here in the Atlantic. So we had 4 nuclear war command and control planes airborne today. 4, okay, plus a doomsday plane. That is unprecedented, guys. It's very rare to see that many nuclear war command and control planes in the air in the same day. 4 of them, actually 5. There were 5, okay? And these planes are responsible for communicating with our nuclear-armed submarines and for launching our Minuteman III ICBMs in the event that ground-based launch control centers are destroyed in a nuclear attack. So these planes could remotely launch our Minuteman III ICBMs from the air if they have to, and they can communicate with our nuclear-armed subs if our ground-based transmitter sites in Cutler, Maine and Jim Creek, Washington get taken out. All right, we also have some breaking news that Ukrainian pilots are now training with the Arizona Air National Guard on F-16s, okay? So that's pretty much it for this one, guys. I'll keep you updated. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you hit the bell icon so you're notified when I post these updates. And also, I'm going to go live when this war kicks off. I'm going to be live 24/7 if I have to. So you're going to want to make sure you have your notifications set up so when things really heat up, you're going to get all these emergency alerts sent to your phone. You're going to get notified as soon as I post them and if I go live. I'll be doing more updates tomorrow, so take care, God bless, and don't forget the 3 Ps: prepare, practice, and persevere.